What's up, workout crew? Today we're going to talk about the push-up. We're just going to talk about 3 types: the standard push-up, the narrow push-up, and the wide push-up. Get you guys set up for success for the workouts that you're about to do. Lots of other types of push-ups out there. We're going to start with the basics and form for these exercises. Now for form, let's start with the standard push-up. If you have a yoga mat, grab it really quick because we're going to use it to help measure out where to put our hands. For the standard push-up, you want your hands a little bit wider than shoulder width. Okay, index fingers facing forward. If you have the hands facing in, that's a no-go, because when you're doing a push-up, you always want to make a kind of an arrow with that upper body, with the shoulders, okay, and the arms. If you have a flat head, that's a no-go, and you'll be working out the shoulders more than the chest. We want to get the chest, back, and arms. We'll get the shoulders in other exercises. Okay, so index fingers facing forward. I want you to have wide fingers. Don't have fingers close together when your hands are on the ground. If you have the fingers close together, it's bad for the top part of the wrist. So separate your hands wide. Okay, hands a little bit wider than shoulder width, index fingers facing forward. Okay, you can be on your toes or your knees. Rules of thumb though is always try to start on your toes first and then modify by putting the knees on the ground. And every day and every week, you just try to do a little bit better in terms of trying to get more and more reps. So try to start hard, modify as you need to. So hands a little bit wider than shoulder width, index fingers facing forward. You always want your eyes to look forward just a little bit. Don't have the eyes looking towards your feet, because if you do that, when you bend those elbows, you'll be working out the shoulders, and that's a no-go. We want to work out the chest. So toes facing forward, eyes looking forward. You're going to come down and then up. Let's talk about hand position real quick. When you go down for the standard push-up, you always want to keep your hands right next to the chest. Okay, you don't want it up here by the neck or below the chest. For a standard push-up, you want the hands right by the chest. Again, you can be on your toes or your knees. Okay, now for the next part of this, when you go all the way down, before you come up, try to raise the hips first. Everything comes up as a full unit. You'll see a lot of people where the upper body comes first and then the legs. Okay, try your hardest to raise those hips first. If you're on your knees, still raise the hips first, and then back up, keep the hands by that chest. Okay, so that's push-up form for the standard push-up. In your workouts, a rule I like to say is try your hardest to always get full range of motion in your workout, so you can really develop the chest, really develop the arms. You'll see some people when they're doing the workouts, they'll just get to that 90 degrees during the bicep and forearm, which is fine if you're trying to test yourself, you're trying to see how many push-ups you can do. But during your workout, I would recommend getting that full range of motion. Go all the way down to the ground, let everything touch so you know you're in that full range, and then back up, trying to raise the hips first. So that's the standard push-up. Now let's talk about the narrow push-up. On narrow push-ups, you want your hands a little bit below the chest, still index fingers facing forward, and you want the forearms to stay right by that rib cage. And I recommend starting on the ground first, eyes looking forward. Keep your knees or your toes, but just raise the hips first, and then press up. Okay, come down, and then press up. You should feel it more in the triceps and the shoulders on this one, more so than the chest in the back. I'm going to be on my toes for this one. So you can come down, eyes looking forward, hands a little bit below the chest. Forearms should be touching your rib cage. Raise the hips first, and then press up. So that's the narrow push-up. So for standard, hands are by the chest. For narrow, hands are a little bit below the chest. Okay, forearms should be brushing up against your rib cage. And then for wide, your hands are going to be wider than shoulder width apart, and I always say hands wider than your mat. So a standard, part of your hands are on the mat, and for wide, hands are off the mat. And for wide push-ups, form is about the same though as standard. Keep the hands by the chest, eyes looking forward. Turn sideways so you can see it. Hands by the chest, here, and then back up. Okay, so remember, when you're doing your push-ups, you always want an arrow shape with the upper body, not a flat head. Okay, when you're doing your workouts, try your hardest to get that full range of motion, and before you press up, try to raise the hips first so you're activating the core and the upper body. Okay, and I believe that's it. I believe we covered, that's the standard, narrow push-up, and wide push-up. If you have any questions, post it in the comments below. Get out there and work out. I'll see you next time.